So this past weekend ended up being huge for gaming. Monster Hunter World came out and it's blowing everyone's minds, and Lost Sphere came out from Square Enix and Tokyo RPG Factory. It's blowing less minds, but it's still getting pretty favorable reviews. More on those games in future videos. But the biggest story this weekend is probably the Sea of Thieves Beta. It was just released this past weekend for people who have pre-ordered the game, and it came out to some mixed reactions. I was actually able to play it quite a bit, played it with a bunch of friends, had a really good time. So let's talk about it, because there's a lot going on with this beta on the internet right now. So before we get into my impressions, I think it needs to be said, many times, the high level of hatred and vitriol thrown towards Rareware and Microsoft this past weekend has been not only unnecessary, but also frankly embarrassing for the gaming community in general. People took to the internet because the servers were going down and the game wasn't running 100% smoothly, and were saying that Rareware ripped them off and they paid $60 to play a broken game and the company was terrible and they should just stop making games and Microsoft should just give it up for dropping the ball on all this and so forth. First of all, let's get something straight. You did not pay $60 to play the beta. You paid $60 to pre-order the game when it's finished and ready for release come March. That's what you paid for. What you were given, because they wanted to, was kind of like a friendly behind-the-scenes look at an unfinished game, and in return what they got from us was data needed to figure out server issues. It was a server test. And both unfortunately and fortunately, the beta ended up being wildly popular. People were downloading it left and right. That's a good thing and a bad thing. It's bad because, yeah, the servers were overloaded and whatnot, and it made for a bumpy start, and it's still kind of bumpy. It's probably going to be bumpy all the way out to the finish. It's good because now they'll be more prepared when the game comes out. So people who are out there being angry and pissy and moaning and just being assholes towards Rare and Microsoft because this demo wasn't what they thought it should be, you really need to reevaluate what you thought this beta was going to be. It was never going to be the final product. We were just given an opportunity to help make the game better when it comes out later. They didn't have to do this. They didn't have to release a beta at all. Is it bad publicity? No, I don't think it's bad publicity at all, because the people who are actually enjoying the game are enjoying it and raving about it and having a blast. That being said, I'm one of those people. I thought the beta was amazing. Right from the get-go, in a completely unfinished game world, lacking NPCs, lacking all of the actual flavor that'll probably end up being thrown into it when it's released, the game has boundless character, and my god, is it beautiful. The volumetric effects, the weather effects, the storm effects, and absolutely, first and foremost, the water effects. These are some of the most staggeringly beautiful and physically accurate water effects I've ever seen in a game. And just sailing on that water for hours on end is just, in and of itself, a pleasure and a sight to behold. It's absolutely stunning. The way the waves crash up against the bow of your ship, the way your ship careens and slides back and forth when it hits a crest, all of it just feels really, really good, and it looks so, so cool. As for the gameplay itself, we've only gotten a small taste of what the actual game will offer when it comes out in March. That being said, what we were given is a blast. So I got together with 4 friends that I've known for several years now. We're from various parts of the country, and some of us various parts of the world. And we all got together via our Xboxes and PCs, and we all hooked up via Discord for voice chat. And we thought we would just go for a few voyages and collect some chests and get some gold and buy some items. And what we ended up doing was playing for over 4.5 hours without even realizing it. The gameplay is engrossing, even in this bare bones form. The character of the game, the spirit of the game is already there. I cannot wait to see what happens when they put everything that's going to be in the game into the game, and we get to see it in its final form come March. Just getting together with a bunch of friends and manning a ship and figure out who's going to do what jobs and who's going to maintain the sails and who's going to raise the anchors and who's going to be the lookout for the pilot, because the pilot can't see past the sails. Everything is just so cool and so neat, and it takes so much teamwork and so much camaraderie just to put everything together and make it all work. That's not to say it's impossible. You can still man a ship on your own and go soloing if you want to, but it's not nearly as much fun. So you round up all your buddies, you start off on an island together, you go and you talk to an NPC who will sell you basically a treasure map to treasure to a nearby island. So what you do is you all jump on your ship, figure out who's going to do what, sail over there, and the sailing mechanics are really, really cool. You have to account for all the different weather and all the different wind and the conditions of the water. If you get yourself into some chop and some crazy wind, it's going to be more difficult to control it, but it's ultimately very rewarding and very cool. And once you get to the island you're getting to look for your treasure, stopping the ship is a challenge in and of itself as well. Because what happens is you need to cut the sails or raise the sails about halfway or so to reduce the speed of your ship. Then work on angling your ship so you don't hit a sandbar or hit a shelf or something which you can't see under the water. But you also want to give your team a safe enough distance to swim to the island and then swim back, because you'll have, you know, myriad different dangers stopping you from completing your quest. So once you do that and coordinate it, you jump onto an island and everybody has to work together in order to uncover the treasure. That could be something from just reading a map properly, which, given the fact that you don't have a mini map in the game, you just have an actual physical paper copy of the map you have to look at or have one of your teammates show you, is actually surprisingly difficult and really challenging in a really fun way. So everybody coordinates, everybody locates the spot on the map where the treasure is buried, or they look for the clues that are denoted on certain quests which are given to you via riddles. So you find the location of the treasure, you dig it up, and then you have to make a mad dash back to your ship. So you're dodging skeletons, you're dodging sharks, and in many cases you're dodging other players who may have followed you to the island or may already be on the island, and then get the treasure back to the guy that you bought the quest from, and he exchanges the treasure chest for gold. I'm hoping, because it's Rare, who's very much known for his secrets and collectibles and all kinds of stuff, there's going to be myriad different things we can buy and collect and use to upgrade our ships and our clothing. And I think they've said that there's no way to upgrade weapons because they want to maintain an even playing field, but you will be able to get new weapons and new items as sort of like a badge of honor or something, or courage for having, you know, completed all things you're going to complete. So that all said, the game is just an absolute blast. I can see it being difficult unless you have a group of friends that are ready to go on a regular basis. For me, I think it's a fantastic sort of party game to play with your buddies that you've known for a while. I don't know how it would really work playing with random people. I guess it would all depend on Rare and Microsoft trying to like sort of harbor and nurture a friendly community, which would be kind of tough given the subject matter of all the piracy and whatnot. But yeah, what we've shown is already something really, really special. And I think the final game is going to be just incredible. I really do. Like I said, I lost track of time for 4 hours playing this with a bunch of buddies. I had no idea that I'd spent almost half the day playing this game before we'd already finished. I can't imagine how much of my time is going to be gleefully and joyfully sunk into this game once it's released in its complete form. So hopefully you had the chance to play the beta if you pre-order the game. If not, you should definitely check out various streams. The stream I took part in with the friends I mentioned before, you can find at twitch.tv/zudonim. That'll be in the text on the screen behind me. You can check him out. You should also follow him because he's an awesome guy. He deserves some follows on both Twitter and Twitch. So go hit him up. Awesome guy. Very cool to allow me to tag along on his stream if you haven't already pre-ordered it. If you don't believe in pre-ordering, I don't blame you. But if you haven't already pre-ordered it, you still have a couple days left to get into the beta, because they've extended it because so many people complain. So I guess there was one bright side to the gaming community embarrassing themselves. Sea of Thieves, check it out. And I'll see you on the high seas come March.